the construction industry is hard on people. It is hard on relationships. And we come up with these, we'll say, less than healthy ways to cope with those stresses and all the other things that are happening in our industry. And one is substance abuse. And that was me, like 100%. On the outside, it looked like I had it going on. I was getting promotions. I was getting big, giant, fancy, sexy jobs. And behind the scenes, I was self-medicating to deal with the thing. And specifically as a trade, I feel like the folks out there, we throw this word around, trade partner, which if we're not sharing risk and reward on the contract, I'm not your partner. Like contractually, we're not partners. Call me what you want. Treat me like a human being. And so when we talk about this word trade partner, most people probably think of the entity, the name of the company, or their project manager. I'm talking about trades folks, the ones that are putting their hands on the things and building the things. And those, I know, like we're largely invisible until there's a problem. We're largely unheard until we want an explanation. And so imagine living in that situation, always being pressured, pushed, taken for granted, even, we'll say, abused in a way, and expecting to be happy. Like, how the hell do you deal with that? And so for me, there's so much opportunity to mend these broken relationships by focusing on the human side of things, right? Like, you're a human, I'm a human. That's what I got to learn in my career path is regardless of education, regardless of socioeconomic background, regardless if you were running a $3 million project or you're responsible for a couple $1 billion worth of work, everybody involved in that are human beings. And we just don't interact like human beings. For some reason, we show up to work and I'm a project manager and I'm a general superintendent and I'm a lead manager and you're an installer and like, yeah. And we're human. So I think that's maybe what helped Jennifer and I collide and mesh and colliding and having a nuclear meltdown.
Well, I maybe you are melting down a few things in your path, but I think it's actually a good nuclear meltdown. It's a little bit of a we're gonna run you over. So, Jess, talk a little bit about what is No BS with Jen and Jess. Like, what is that? What do you guys do, and where does some of this humanity find its mouthpiece?
Yeah, so I think it was an accident, right, Jen?
Yes.
I had an idea to have some live streams about applying 5S in our relationships. That was the seed for a community. I mean, so that's what it's turned into. So basically, we live stream every other Saturday at 8 a.m. Central. Jennifer and I are up on the screen, and we're talking about a subject that is relative to us as professionals and men and women in our homes, like in our romantic relationships or friendly relationships or whatever. And it's I'll say interactive dialogue with the folks that are watching the live stream because they're really the ones that bring the value and guide the conversation through their comments in the chat. And people keep showing up and they invite their friends. And so it started off, like I said, a little idea, and people signaled back that I think it was the trust that Jennifer and I demonstrate for each other, the respect that we demonstrate for each other, and the vulnerability that we're able to display because of the trust and the respect resonated with people in the industry because at work, those things are freaking absent. Otherwise, why the hell would they wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning to interact with some weirdos on the damn internet? If you have it at work, why would you do that on a Saturday?
I mean, Jen, you're shaking your head. You've got a few thoughts on that one.
I do. And so what he failed to mention, because sometimes he leaves gaps, and so because he knows that I need to fill them in. And so when he talks about we had a seed, and so he had this idea of us doing some live streams on 5S and personal relationships. So applying source, set, shine, standardize, and sustain, apply it to personal relationships. And so we started, that didn't even exist yet. So we started with, we're going to have 5 live streams and we're going to talk through these concepts, which were amazing. And then we had people that were jumping in, and then it was like, okay, we'll do one more, and then we'll do one more. And then like the feedback was, well, we need more S's, and Jesse and I are like, well, there's no more S's. Like, we don't know what to do. And so at that point, what we were getting from the people that had shown up for 2.5, 3 months were, what's next? Or what are y'all going to do next? And Jesse's like, well, we didn't have a plan for anything next. And so he and I kind of got together and started talking about, here's what's happened. Here's what we felt. Here's what's working. And like, there's a need here. And what can we do about that? And that's where I think we were just sitting down one day and we went, okay, well, let's create something that's ours. And then we'll just keep doing this. And we'll talk about things that no one wants to talk about. And that's where we are over 2 years later.